This is the other side of my room, my empty room. Most of the plants that I just am going to be going through were over here on the heating pad with the fan. This is a Calathea, I think. I got it from Tagal when I was working there. Calathea. However, that is funny. That's the first time I've ever seen that. Propagation strictly prohibited. Jerks. This plant is often thirsty and actually has amazing rebound potential. It was a lot fuller when I first bought it. I was watering it with tap water. That's a no-no at my place here. It doesn't like minerals in the water. This here can probably go. Whatever, I'm not gonna mess with it. But I've noticed that even though the edges get all wilty and ugly, it actually grows back pretty well. Especially when I'm running the humidifier. And it does have new growth. Aren't those leaves pretty? Oh, I love those variegated leaves. And this is another one that I got at the same time. It's related to the prayer plant. It is super thirsty, likes humidity. I actually potted this with some vermiculite in there because it was that thirsty, and it does not like the tap water. It's picky, it's sensitive. It's like one of those, it's related to the prayer plant. Like when it gets dark, it folds up. You know what folding is. Look at how pretty that is though. It folds up, and then during the day it opens back up. Yeah, it's a thirsty bugger. This, oh, dang it. I'll just toss this one probably. I am so tired of fighting this guy. I think it's time to call it. This is that. It's a type of fern. It's an epiphytic fern. And when I bought it, it was like 40 bucks. And I killed it really slowly over a number of years. But once I realized I was killing it, I cut off the good stuff and I stuck it in water, you know, because that's my easy propagation method. And as soon as I stuck it in water and I started feeding it like distilled water and just leaving it in the water all the time, it started to grow on the ends. See, like that's new. That's new. And it gave me false hope. And then, but I had it in water for years and it never grew roots. Not once, never. It was growing, but it never grew roots. So I did that root dip and potted it, and it's never been happy since, and I'm really sick of it. No party poopers allowed anymore. Okay, moving on. Here's this one. Oncidium, maculatum, maroon spotted green with violet. Yeah, he doesn't care too much about his descriptions. It's like, close enough. Let's see, what can I remember about this plant? Oh, the things on the sides, those twisty ties, that's how I kept it stable in the pot for a while. And then it's obviously stable in the pot. I cut the twist ties and I could not pull them out because it has that many roots and it's in there good. It's potted in that fantasy orchid bark media with some rocks on top. This is obviously an old bulb. And you know what? I kind of have a tendency in the past to freak out about like that discoloration. But I'm pretty sure that's just a normal thing with it. And this is the newest growth. Look at how fat and happy this daddy is. I think it started to grow this one first. Have you noticed that? Like with Dendrobiums do it all the time. They start to grow a growth and then they push out another one off of the new growth and that one takes over and then later they try to catch up with the one that started it. Orchids are amazing survivors. I love them. I have not rebloomed that one. Oh, this is my Twinkle. It's my white Twinkle. Let's see. Let's take a look. It's thirsty. Has new growth. Those look like little babies. I think around now it should probably be starting to kick out spikes. I'm not gonna go snooping because, oh, I see one. Holla. Hey, baby girl. And that wasn't even snooping. It just was like, hey, look at me. This is another one that has been neglected. It's got lots of crinkly leaves. But sometimes those leaves just get crinkled and then it pushes out something else off of them and it just gives up on the crinkles. Ooh, I'm so excited. I hope there's more than one spike. Holla, Courtney. This is like the one I gave you. Is yours still alive? Okay, this is a mixture of those little fairy plants. This is that purpley one outside that has the long pink flowers. It's obviously been inside and is no longer purple because I haven't given it enough light. And these are those turtle pepperonis. Not enough light, probably not enough moisture. This is another type of that. And not doing so hot. Needs to be watered too. I'm going to put this with the other plants that were outside and need to be watered, and I can get some light from that. I do grow lights, the full spectrum, whatever, and I literally just place them where I think they need them. Eclectically. Okie dokie. Oop, here we go, another seedling. Thanks. Gold country. This is a Calathea fuchsia doll. I can pronounce that, so I will. This little gal's a trooper, though. It really is. Look at how happy. this new growth is. Obviously, I treated that one poorly. And really, I probably treated that one poorly because it's smaller than that one. Probably it was that big when I got it, and then I made it go smaller and then bigger. I had to repot it. It's in a bark media, and I didn't want to stake it. It wouldn't stay propped up, so I just added those rocks. And then I put it in here. It probably needs to go back on a heating mat because it is a seedling and this feels really cold. I don't think they like that. I don't know. Apple blossoms love it, but I don't know about this one. So this is kind of like another masked pot version. You know what I mean, Fern? Oh, let's see, what's this guy? This is another clipping of the jewel orchid. Yeah, it's not dying, whatever. I don't care if it did. This is another Pilea or Peperonia. I let it get too thirsty and it's recuperating. This is a serious love-hate relationship. It makes me sad. This is my LooJuice mix. Hybrid, whatever. Okay, so that was obviously when I bought it. I didn't even buy it in bloom. I have never seen this thing in bloom, and it's been at least 4 or 5 years. I didn't know that it has a tendency to go dark. The roots like to be dark. There you have that black, rotten look, but it's normal for this plant. And it's a hybrid, so you never know what traits it's going to get from one or the other. It's like the most horrible guessing game there is. It has that sharp point. It's probably semi-deciduous. Oh, this is something I liked from Danny. Voila! I dig that. That's genius. She should get paid. Anyway, so I have been slowly killing this plant, I'm pretty sure. This is the growth that it put off this year, and I'm happy with it for the most part. I tried this in leca, just the beads, you know, those clay balls. Nope, not having anything of it. I have completely stunted every growth that I've grown. It's a little baby, and I actually planted this one in layers. So, and I couldn't keep it moist enough. I mean, this is a thirsty plant when it grows. It's almost like a Calathea. I mean, that's a pretty big bulb. So that tells you how much I don't water it. Anyway, I planted this one in layers. The bottom has a layer of sphagnum moss, and then some of the bark mix, and then some sphagnum moss. Looks like I still have some leca in there. It's attached. It's growing fine. I'm not going to mess with it. Repotting and whatnot. And the leaves on this are just set for tragedy. I do not do well with big leaves, but aren't they pretty? And they're so healthy. No bugs on these leaves. It's like a bunny rabbit. Okay, next. Oh, this is similar to my terrarium stuff I like to do. This is a candy jar, and you can't tell now, but it did have layers. I like watching Serpa designs. Has anybody else seen that? He actually put snails on his terrarium, which like creeped me out, and just I didn't understand why he would put snails in his like little thingy that he was making, because snails are so toxic for orchids. They're like Hitler, you know? Anyway, this is another Dendrobium that is growing. That's what it's grown this year. I got it this year. It's not that old. It's on that cool piece of wood next to that rock, and I've seen little bugs jumping around, and I'm pretty sure they're springtails eating up some stuff. So good for you, springtails, but the day I see a snail, I'm gonna kill you. This, oh my gosh. Let's just hurry through it. This is a beautiful Dendrobium. It was at Tagawa Gardens where I got my discount, and it almost made it normal to if I would have gotten it from Tagawa. Tagawa marks their stuff up as they can very well. Nobody really complains. Anyway, this thing was much bigger. I gave it to my mom for her birthday or Mother's Day. It's often the same, May 13th. And it was ginormous, like twice as big as this. And it had so many new growths. And it had like 4 spikes. Like this thing should have been in bloom. Probably still. Like from Mother's Day till now, it should have been in bloom. She mistreated it and gave it back to me, and now I'm trying to rescue it. But you know, when you break off all the new growth in a year, you're screwed for at least a year. So that's that. I'm not ready to give up on that one. Oh, honey. This is another Vanda. I probably should test that. It's got some sort of fertilizer in there, obviously, and it's not that old. So that's why I'm sticking it in there and spinning it. I think that even reusing the same water is fine, as long as you know that the pH and whatnot, like the TDS and whatnot, is okay. And I think it's important to get it stirred. It needs to be stirred. Like stirring it refreshes it. It gives it oxygen and whatnot. That's why H2O2 does so well, you know? So you kind of gotta, you can't just let stale water be stale. This, oh look, these go with that thing. But how I use them, this is my Amazonica. I need to switch that back to a clay pot, I think. Because, the new growth's happy for the most part, but this is another one that gets that icky growth along there, but I try not to freak out and just kill it because I'm freaking out. Okay, so this is what okay, that didn't work, but you get the idea. I'll set it on top of those so it has some air circulation, because I thought that's why this was dying, that it was just too moist after I repotted it in this sphagnum moss stuff. And I had it covered on the heating pad with no air circulation. And I think that that was a little too much. But then I also think that that was a little too much air. So I think that if it was in a clay pot, I'm going to go back to the clay pot because I was doing better with that. And are we done? We're done. Hallelujah, folks. Anybody that's stuck with me? Aw, I love you. Namaste, y'all.